What's going on, guys? Roger Dodger back at Flooring Podcast, and I'm hanging out with a special guest, Stanley from Home Improvement Studios from Northern California. Stanley, tell them what's up.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Stanley, I really appreciate you coming out here, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be out here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. So you're obviously in LA. You've never been to LA, huh?
I have. My sister used to live down here in Orange County, and we used to visit all the time. But she moved out to Florida, so since then, it's probably been my first time, yeah.
Dang. And you came with your wife,
Yeah,
right?
we both came here together.
Yeah. What? You guys are in Santa Monica hanging out there.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do? Just have fun? What would you guys do?
We flew in Friday afternoon and just hung out at the beach. We went to a bunch of different restaurants. It was pretty nice.
Would you say LA and Northern California are way different, huh?
Yeah, definitely way different.
What do you think? What's the difference, though? Like, what do you feel the difference is?
Well, I would say Northern California is more of your country vibes, where you have a lot of, even the city life, it's nothing compared to here. There's so many people here, and it's so open, and even like the beach life, it's definitely more LA vibe. Northern California, it's more quiet. It's definitely.
One thing, I don't mean to cut you off. I have family up north, I told you.
Yeah.
And I noticed that people in up north, I feel like they're more slow paced.
Compared to here, yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
How would you describe it? Now that you came out here again, do you think it's more slow paced, or what do you feel when you're out here in LA? The difference?
I would say I really feel the city lifestyle. It's like everyone's running all over the place. There's no matter what time of the day, you see people walking around doing something. Over there at night, it definitely gets quiet. It's,
really? So you're saying like people go into their houses and they don't come out?
Yeah, like after 11, 12, it's the streets are super dead. It's definitely not as busy as it is out here.
Oh, so it sounds like the nightlife is much crazier out here.
Definitely, yeah.
So do you like it? Do you like LA? How do you feel it? How do you feel it?
Honestly,
you're not from out here.
I am more of a city person. I would say that it's definitely nice to be out here. I'm not that country boy, on the farm and all that. Like my family is definitely more on that lifestyle. I would say I'm more on the city. I do like the people. I do like the that rush that you get going out in the city where everyone's doing something, so you have to do something too. It's definitely more motivating, and it's like it's exciting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you what you're saying is you see the difference in Northern California and LA.
Yeah.
You could feel it.
There's definitely a difference for sure.
And it sounds like you like it.
I do like it.
You should come and live out here in LA.
I should.
You should move into San Diego.
Yeah.
I think it'll fit perfect with you.
Yeah, San Diego would definitely be a vibe.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Stanley. So everybody wants to know, the first question people want to know is, everybody wants to know how we met. So I'll tell a little bit about what I think, and then you say whatever. Originally, I saw you on Instagram because you have a lot of viral videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you're pretty viral. And then an influencer, you didn't know, I never told you this story. An influencer sent me one of your videos one time.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I keep seeing this home improvement person. Like, I keep seeing them. And you have how many followers? You got, I think, like 115,000 followers on Instagram, huh?
Yeah.
So when I saw you and I met, like, I didn't see you and meet you because I didn't know who it was. I didn't know who Home Improvement was. I didn't know. I just saw the brand, the logo on your shirt. I saw the videos, and I saw like 30 million views, 20 million views, like crazy views on Instagram. Like, that's what got my attention. I'm not gonna lie. And then I saw some of your viral videos because, everybody knows I do have an Instagram and a TikTok, and I'm a huge fan of social media. Obviously, you're a huge fan of social media too. But when I saw your profile, I was like, this account is like blowing up. Yeah. It's not the average. It's because I think the biggest thing is like there's not a lot of people that are in your world or my world, of the home improvement world, doing what we're doing, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say to button up how we met, I'm going to say social media for sure got my attention. Your company got my attention. But until I really like got to know you and meet you and all that, what's your story? What do you think? How would you say we met?
Yeah, I'd probably say something similar through social media. What got my attention is the McMillan brand. after I opened up an account, I started doing a lot of digging and researching, social media wise, what they're advertising, how they're promoting it. And I came across your video with a hammer.
Oh, the hammer test video went
Hammer
viral.
test
You're
video,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say that's to this day I still show that to my customers in the showroom. Like
No,
it's like
it's effective,
yeah,
huh?
definitely very effective, and it's it's very true. There's a lot of different flooring brands out there that have the same specs, but in reality they're different products.
Yeah.
So that hammer video test was definitely one that stood out, and to this day I still use it. And that was like the day I started following your page, and I'm like seeing you every day. So it's pretty awesome.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, so obviously in other words, we met on social media,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna answer the next question. So, tell me a little bit about Home Improvement Studios, and how did it get into the industry?
So Home Improvement Studio, I started off with selling just floors. I used to work for a different company that operated in the showroom where I'm at today, and they wanted to close the lease. Well, they wanted to close the store down while I was working there, and I talked to the owner and asked if I can just take over the lease and rebranded a whole new company. And I took over the lease. We started selling floors, and we branched out to countertops and cabinets. So we specialize in cabinets, flooring, and cabinets, flooring, and countertops.
And I remember we talked earlier. So you're saying originally though you started in the countertop space in the home improvement world.
Yeah. So before I started Home Improvement Studio, I actually started a company with a friend of mine, fabricating and installing countertops. Mm-hmm. We specialized in all the different types of stone, doing super custom work. Working with soapstone, onyx, marble, quartzite, all those luxury stones.
Yeah.
And from that, I really got developed the attentive to detail skill. I feel like all that custom work that we really focused on, it was super detailed, and you couldn't half-ass anything. Otherwise, everything would pretty much fail. But we started off doing countertops. I worked in the countertop industry for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And from there, I ended up getting started with Home Improvement Studio in the flooring industry.
Okay, so you went from the countertops, and then you moved into that location you have.
Yes.
And you changed and rebrand the company. It was a different name before, and you changed it to Home Improvement.
Exactly.
Whose idea was the Home Improvement name?
It was my idea.
Yeah.
I guess the whole name branding came from the countertop industry.
Okay.
My biggest challenge with countertops was that we were working with builders and contractors, like general contractors. And the most difficult part about that is they control the prices and they control like the workflow.
Who's they?
Builders and contractors. We were originally targeting just builders and contractors, general contractors.
So you were just a fabricator?
Just a fabricator.
Okay.
We did have like our own vendors that we worked with for selling quartz, marble, and soapstone. But then even then we didn't have the capabilities of targeting homeowners. It was just our main target and our main reach was general contractors and builders. They give you consistent work, and they also control the prices. So it's very difficult to compete with the rest of the trade doing the home industry.
Okay.
So with all that, a lot of customers that would come in to our showroom, they would already have a general idea of countertops, talking to designers, builders, or general contractors. And a lot of those people don't specialize in countertops, so they were fed a bunch of false information that it was difficult to work with, because they would come in looking for something that they didn't really understand what they were looking for. So now you're trying to tell them, hey, that's not really how it works, or that's
so you're going to change their thinking.
So exactly. Instead of like focusing on, a product that they want, or talking to them about something that they want, you're trying to convince them and tell them like what you've been told is not exactly true. So it was just a very difficult process of selling to homeowners. And that's where I realized like I need to be upfront. I need to be the first person of contact with a homeowner. I need to be the person that a customer comes in and they're talking to me before they talk to anyone else. And that's where Home Improvement Studio came into play. I was like, I need to target homeowners, not builders, not contractors, not designers.
Damn, I like the way you said that. So you're saying, just to tell me if I'm wrong, you're saying that because you were just an installer,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
They would only view you for an installer. They viewed you as an installer, and you only had an installer viewpoint. So they would go to a specialty store,
Exactly.
like a countertop store or a supplier that has countertops there, or a retail store, and they would get all their information from a retail store. Then they would take that information to you as an installer and tell you what they wanted and what
Exactly.
they were taught at that store. And now you're telling them something different. So you have, in other words, like a debate
Exactly.
between the homeowner and the fabricator.
Exactly.
And now the homeowner is like, no, they told me this.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is the right way. We recommend this type of stone because this
exactly.
is how we work with this stone, and this is how we seal marble, and this is how I think quartzite is stronger than quartz or whatever. Dang. So that's what kind of pushed you into getting a retail store.
Exactly.
Dang, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful, because there's a lot of fabricators out there that don't have the either the money or even the time to open up a store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, dang. So you never told me that story. I didn't know that that's why you did that. Dang, that's powerful. That's powerful. I like that. I like that. So, okay. So in what are the top 3 flooring brands? Because you sell, besides the cabinets, besides the countertops, Home Improvement Studio does everything. If you want to tell the viewers, what do? You do everything when it comes to, do you guys do also like break down walls and put drywall? Do you do all that too?
Yeah, so I would probably say that we definitely specialize in flooring, cabinets, and countertops.
Okay.
That's our, that's what we market. That's what we do. However, anytime you do a cabinet job, anytime you do a flooring job, anytime you do a countertop job, there's always some electrical involved. There's always some plumbing involved. There's always, I want to remove this wall because there's a new kitchen layout that's going in with the new cabinets. So with that, we do have our general contractor's license that allows us to renovate the entire house.
Damn.
And we're able to, go in there, demo everything, redo the rough plumbing, the rough electrical for all the new things that's coming in. And that's pretty much our main bread and butter.
And so you obviously you run the show. You're the jefe. You're the guy that handles the business. You not only are you a boss that handles business, but I think that you're an example to other businesses out there. You're not just a guy collecting the check and watching your guys work. I noticed that. You're a guy that's getting down and dirty and cleaning and doing the work, breaking down walls, doing whatever. I see you in your videos. You're the one doing the work, mixing the self-leveling. Like, I see you doing everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that shows an example of a boss, or, like the manager or whoever. I think that there's power behind that. I think that you work with your team as a team versus, there's this saying out there that say, how do you lead your team, from the back or from the front?
Exactly.
And I think you lead from the front. You say, hey guys, let's go. This is how we're going to do it. Would you agree?
I definitely would agree. I definitely believe that you can only be as strong as your weak link. And I find myself on a daily trying to be where the weak link is at and making sure that is as strong as it can be. So I pretty much involve myself in everything that we need to make sure that everything gets done the right way. And wherever I notice something is not correct or something isn't, going right, or it needs some attention, that's where I involve myself every day. So that's why you'll see me jumping from, office estimating to cleaning to, prep work to anything that's, going on that day or that week.
One thing that you caught my eye, another thing, the reason why I wanted to work with you, is because you take a lot of pride in what you do.
Definitely.
I'm a huge fan of that.
Thank you.
Huge fan. I think that there's a lot of flooring stores, a lot of businesses out there that put a supervisor, someone that they want to just collect the money and just kind of just watch the money hopefully grow. But I think that you're more of an example of a company that takes pride in what they do, cares about the skill that they're doing. They care about the quality. They care about the result. And that's why you're here, because I believe in companies that actually care about quality. And when I talk about quality, I'm talking about the quality of what you're gonna put in their house, meaning countertop has to be at the highest quality, because there's low quality countertops out there.
Definitely is.
You came from the fabrication side. You tell me there's not a lot of quartz out there that's garbage.
There is.
There is, right?
There is.
There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff out there that's being produced by either mass. You know, there's like manufacturers that create like low quality cabinets, low quality countertops, low quality. There's a lot of stuff out there that's low quality.
Yeah,
when it comes to food or anything.
Exactly. Just like anything else, there's your high quality products, and there's your low budget quality that's, you install it and 2 weeks later you're wondering, oh, why is this doing this, or why is that reacting like this? Why am I having this issue?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand, it may look the same, it may have the same specs, it may have the same characteristics, but at the end of the day, it's the way it's produced and the way it's made, it's not durable, it's not strong. It doesn't have the same, sealer products that you'd normally would that would prevent it from, staining or anything like that. So just exactly like you said, there's high quality food and there's low quality food.
Yeah. And I'm a huge on the food thing, because I love food. I love food. And I talk to my people all the time, like, for anyone that's watching, vegetables and stuff organic all day long because of that. Because there's just so much in the world that I could talk about it all day. There's so much out there, low quality, hurting our body.
Yeah.
We got to take care of our body. Yeah. That's another thing I'm a huge fan of. But let's jump into it. So I think that the reason why you care about quality, because you've been burned. And meaning that, when I mean by burned, meaning you've gotten into trouble installing probably low quality cabinets, low quality countertops, maybe accidentally hiring a team member that is probably cheaper than another guy, and you go out there because you want to make a little more money, and you're like, oh, I gotta make money on this side, I'm gonna hire this guy for a little less, and then you make more money, but you end up paying in the long run because that guy was cheaper. But then tell me a story, if you can. Tell me a story about you installing like maybe a countertop, or maybe a cabinet, or someone you hired that was lower price.
Yeah.
If you could tell me a little story about someone that was a low quality installer, I guess. Yeah. That came at a good price and it ended up hurting you in the long run. Tell me about that.
Well, let me tell you this experience with the flooring project that I had occur like 4 months ago. We did this job maybe like 8 months ago. We used to have some very cheap products in our showroom, showcasing, for the lower budget customers or the flippers or someone that just wanted to get some flooring.
So what price point what was it that you're talking about? What price point were you selling that your word would never sell it again?
$250.
So you're selling to your homeowner for $250?
Yeah.
And they like the price?
They liked the price. They're so excited to get this in. I was like kind of hesitant on it, but at the same time, it's like, it was a slow season. February, January, those months are always tough in the flooring industry. Mm-hmm. This customer wanted to get something in, so we're like, you know what, let's go, let's do this. Yeah. So we ended up moving forward with the sale. We scheduled the install. They had the subfloor issues that we took care of, did self-leveling, did the proper inspection before we started installing. Took care of all the issues that we noticed that, could have been, harmful for the flooring install. All the prep work was done. We laid the flooring, got the install completed. And it's been 7 months since January. Mm-hmm. I would say like 3 months ago, they came in and they're like, hey, our flooring is having some issues. Can you come take a look at it?
Tell them what type of issues they are, so that way they understand.
So at first, it was when you look at a reflection, you can see the joints of the floor kind of having a different reflection, which indicates that they're starting to rip off.
The click systems are breaking.
Are breaking. Mm-hmm. That was when we went out there to inspect it, that was what I've noticed. And the main areas, like the main traffic, right at the entrance, right in front of the refrigerator, the flooring actually already started to break off. The click system actually
You think the fridge was putting too much pressure on the click systems?
That's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
But I would say absolutely not, because at a reflection, when you look throughout the whole house, you can notice that the flooring will eventually break because the click system throughout the whole house, even in areas that weren't really high traffic, it was starting to break. You can see that reflection at the very tip, where you know, it was when we do installs, for an example, if the click system breaks, you can kind of see it at a certain reflection where it reflects differently, and that's how you kind of can identify that it's broken.
Yeah.
So that happened throughout the whole house. So yeah, the main areas where I had a lot of traffic, you know, constantly every morning you're opening the refrigerator. Every time you need something, you're opening the refrigerator. So the higher traffic areas definitely broke off. And then throughout the whole house, you can notice these planks that are starting to, you know, eventually break off too, because you can already see the first step of them failing. And we had the manufacturer come out there. He sent one of the sales rep to come out, take a look at it. And then he's all like, based off of this install, I can say that the subfloor wasn't prepped correctly and the install wasn't done correctly. And I showed him all the videos of the prep work and all this, and he was all like, let me take this to my upper management. And then they blamed it on the install. They said that there's nothing that we can do with this job.
So they denied the claim.
They denied the claim. They're like, this install wasn't to our standards. But I mean, there's absolutely no way, because I was on that job site. I did the self-leveling. Like, I mean, God. I know that the install was done correctly. We left the proper gaps between all the baseboards, where all the walls where we installed baseboards, the door trims, we did a T-mold. Like, I mean, the install, we followed all the manufacturer guidelines. But at the end of the day, what I ended up realizing was, and I had this problem with another buddy of mine who had the same vendor. He showed me some pictures of his flooring that failed, and it was doing the same exact thing. Yeah. And that's when I realized, like, it has to be a defected product that failed, and they knew it. They just didn't want to take responsibility for it, because they had probably multiple claims, and they're like, we can't afford to, you know, pay everyone out. So wherever we can, we would. So I ended up eating the costs. We replaced the floors, but that's when I realized, like, it's not worth going cheap. It's not worth selling product that I don't believe in and vendors that don't support me. So at that point, I was like, I gotta change something up, and that's when I ended up finding McMillan. That's when we got in contact with, you know, the leading industry in the vinyl, the leading brand in the vinyl industry. Like, I believe McMillan is one of those brands where they create their own colors, they create their own products that are tough, durable, and a lot of people are trying to be like them. They're trying to copy those designs. They're trying to make that realistic plank that McMillan already mastered.
That's crazy, right?
That's. I mean, when I saw McMillan, I was like, I gotta have these guys in my showroom. It was just like, definitely a whole different world.
My goodness.
But yeah, that's I guess one example with homeowners, and going back to the installers. Going with the cheaper guy is definitely not the way to go either.
But you've done that before.
I've done that. I mean, it's I've actually heard multiple stories of different contractors using cheaper subs. Mainly when it comes to bathroom installs, flooring install. There's a few things that can definitely go wrong, steps that you can miss that will definitely really damage the flooring. But more so when you do bathroom installs, if that waterproofing is done correctly and you hire someone that doesn't know what they're doing with the waterproofing system, I mean, it's not a $2,000, $3,000 mistake. You're gutting the whole bathroom, redoing the whole thing. And to get to the waterproofing, the tile has to come out, the shower glass has to come out.
Oh my God.
Everything has to come out to redo that system. And it's definitely, you know, it's not worth it. You know, for $800 less, you're looking at, you know, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 mistake. So it definitely going with the poor quality is definitely not the way to do things. You're definitely going to shoot yourself in the foot and have to deal with it later.
You know, Tony, I usually talk with Tony from the Oxnard location. He's usually sitting where you're at. And I always talk about this to him. A lot of homeowners, a lot of contractors, even designers, they get fed these ideas that a $199 a square foot or a $249 or even a $279 square foot product is a great product because, and this is what I've noticed, tell me if I'm wrong, is because the big box stores feed them their advertising, or anybody advertising, always first thing they advertise is price.
Yeah. And
that hooks them in.
Yeah.
And once they get hooked in, they look at all the variety and all the colors for $199. Oh my God, this is the best looking floor I've ever seen for $199. Small little display. Yeah. I love it. And then they have problems like what you're talking about, where the click systems are breaking.
Yeah.
And so and I want to know what you think about this. Do you think that it was the click system? Do you think it was the way it was manufactured? Do you think it was a drop and lock? What do you think will cause that issue now that you've experienced it?
Yeah, I honestly, going back, I don't think it was the click system, because the click system was great. It wasn't the drop click system. It was the unit click.
Okay.
However, the planks were still holding up together. It's just that the core wasn't durable enough to. So I want to say it was a defect product for sure.
What was the thickness? Do you remember the
It
thickness?
was a 5mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this to people, and I'm a huge believer in this. I don't know if you are. And if you do install it, I hope you don't get offended. I'm not a huge fan of 4mm. I'm not a huge fan of 5mm. I'm not a fan of 5.5mm.
Yeah.
6mm or thicker, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Just because I've experienced what you're talking about. I buy closeouts all the time from all these brands that close out products because they're having issues.
Yeah.
But I buy it at 99 cents and I have to sell it for $1.99 or whatever, right? And but then the flippers and the people that like really, really like good deals, they're the ones buying it because they want something cheap. And now they're having problems when the homeowner moves into that house they flipped or whatever. It's like you pay for $1.99. You don't expect the floor to last 30 years. It's not going to work like that, you know?
It definitely won't.
You know, so it gets me back to this next question. So obviously you're a fan of high quality designer brands is what I hear. You're a fan of that.
I definitely want to say that the industry has pushed me to go that direction, because we're in this game for the long run, and it's not worth it for us to go back to a customer's house and replace their flooring because we sold them something that wasn't going to last when they came to us looking for at the professionals looking for advice to get for their flooring or their cabinets or their countertops. So I want to say we're definitely in this for the long run, and with that, you have to go with brands that are in the same industry. They're here to outlast everyone else and to survive. So I want to say the quality is definitely the most important thing to any industry, any business, anything that you do in this world. If you do it with quality, you're going to stand out and you're going to live. That's definitely, you live a healthy lifestyle. You're going to definitely live longer than those people that eat those, low budget foods. And
I agree.
Definitely.
I agree with you. So obviously you care about quality. I hear a lot of quality in your mouth. Like you want quality. You don't want to work. The thing is, the biggest issue is that people get stuck in the idea of wanting a good price, but you're not going to get a good deal on a high quality product. It doesn't work like that. That's not how the world works.
Yes.
Right? So it gets me to ask you the question, what are the top 3 flooring brands you feel confident selling?
Okay. I would say that's with LVP McMillan.
Okay.
I think that they are leading the flooring industry with LVP. They have a very tough core, and their unit click system is phenomenal. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah. I agree. I would say that McMillan does separate themselves. And when it comes to the way their visuals are, they separate themselves. Definitely their core is a big deal.
Exactly.
And I would say they do have hardwood as well.
Yes.
They do have hardwood as well. So I don't think you've really jumped into the hardwood yet. But the LVP you feel real confident about. Yeah. What other brands do you feel that you're confident about other than McMillan, obviously? So
there's this this new thing came out, waterproof laminate. Compass Materials have created a very great product with a AC5 rating unit click system with a pre-attached pad. A lot of people back in the day, they used to steer away from laminate because it wasn't waterproof and they couldn't install it in bathrooms and like kitchens or laundry rooms, and they leaned towards vinyl. And this year, I want to say that the biggest change is that there's waterproof laminate that you can install in bathrooms, that you can install in laundry rooms, and have that seamless floor throughout the whole house. So that's Compass Materials would definitely be really great. And they also have really nice select grade hardwoods that are definitely different compared to a lot of the different hardwood vendors, and stand out with their select grade, high quality, very nice looking, clean planks. Super wide, 10-inch wide by like 8 inches long.
I looked them up because you told me about them.
Yeah.
And they look like a reputable brand.
Yeah, definitely. With hardwoods, I like selling Hallmark floors.
I'm a fan too.
Yeah, Hallmark floors are definitely really good when it comes to hardwoods. They have a very nice colors and a lot of different options to choose from.
Yeah. So all those three brands you're talking about they carry themselves with dignity.
Exactly.
That's what I noticed. I researched because you told me about it. All those brands carry themselves with dignity, self-respect, and I think that the way they carry their brands and their colors are. I see the way that these brands, the Hallmark's been around for, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think like 70 years.
Yeah.
And I've heard of Hallmark. And so I asked that question because I think that people think that every brand in the market is equal. And I don't think that's the case.
It's definitely not.
You know what I mean?
There's some brands out there that I believe that are, private labeled. And those are the brands I'd probably say stay away from because they're not going to stand behind their product. And what they tend to do is find a McMillan brand floor that they like, and they try to copy that flooring in their own way and private label it with a lower quality core.
Oh my goodness, that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
And they advertise it as in like, hey, look, it's just like this one, but at a cheaper cost. And in the end, it's really not worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to knock off Louis Vuitton. I want the real thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So designer, that's the thing. I think that the way we are wired as humans is, we've been taught, especially if we didn't grow up with a lot of money. I think that we are wired to think that we have to find the best price to be able to adjust to our lifestyle. So meaning that if you're out there shopping for floors, vinyl, laminate, whatever you're shopping for, if it's a house, you always want to get the lowest price because it's going to help with the way you feel and the way you live.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're buying countertops, cabinets, flooring, you need to choose floors that are the highest quality and look really nice.
Yeah.
But then you also got to be mindful that you're not overpaying as well.
Yeah.
Because there are brands out there. I'm a huge fan of, I'm pretty sure you've heard of them, Provenza.
Yeah.
Provenza, I would say they definitely land up there with the McMillan, with the Hallmark, with Provenza is a designer brand as well.
Yeah.
And I think that those brands, they're not gonna create a product that's gonna put a bad name in people's mouths.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is the brands you listed are mainly, you're talking about the quality. That's what you stand behind.
Exactly.
And when it comes to the way you install, like we were talking about earlier, you care about the end result, meaning your install has to be done right. And the floor has to look good.
Exactly.
And if it's not installed correctly and it's not a nice visual, then what are you giving a customer? Right? Exactly. You're giving them just best installation I could give them. That's the best I could give them. Yeah. No, you're going to give them the best installation. And you're going to give them the best floor you can give them. That's what I think that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, flooring in general, in order to install it, you have to remove everything out of the house. And that alone is a challenge of its own. And there's some customers, that have valuable furniture. They have the whole house staged to their comfort living, and there's a lot of, items to move. And replacing your floors 6 months after you just went through that hassle is the worst thing you can go through. It's like,
dang,
you're telling me I have to do that all over again. It's like, it's something that's heartbreaking for me to even tell customers. It's like, and that's one thing that we try to avoid, because doing that over is difficult, and it's just the worst that you can do, not just that, but customers the second time around, not only do they lose trust in you because now you sold them something that, didn't last, or, I mean, they come to you looking at you like a professional, they want you to guide them towards the right direction. It's like they walk into a showroom thinking like, hey, these guys must know what they're doing. So I'm going to,
that's why you're in business. That's why you're in the business.
And a lot of customers, they come in with videos that they've watched or things that they've heard from their friends. I've had a customer walk in with like, hey, my friend just bought a flipper and he has this floor in his house. I want the same thing. And I'm like, let me see what kind of flooring it is. And it's like, no, you do not want that floor, Yeah. So, I mean, customers definitely look at us as professionals.
Yeah.
And they want the truth. They want something that's, is budget correctly, but at the same time, the quality is definitely important, and they don't want to redo their floors after 6 months, 7 months of them being installed. And the second time around, it's harder for us as an installer And, you know, especially if we sell the product too, because not only do they lose trust in us, but the second process of, you know, redoing the floors, there's that like feeling of like anger and like, I can't believe you did this to me. You know what I mean? And it's like working in that environment is like, it's the worst, man. I'm telling you, you do not want to go there and you do not want to do that.
So just to finish up that whole quality thing, would you say that all the brands out there in the market right now are the best quality or not the best quality? There's brands. So let's say there's 15 different flooring brands out there. Do you think that all 15 brands are high quality, or you think that how many of those 15 brands do you think are the highest quality? Let's just get a number, a range. Is there 5 brands do you think that are high quality, or you think there's like half?
I would probably say there's 5 or less, honestly.
Dang.
And honestly, the best way to think about it is like, think about drinks. You know, you have your Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and all the other brands. But you have, you know, the top 5 that really stand out that everyone drinks on a daily, and then everyone else is trying to do something similar to the top 5. Flooring would be the same thing. You have your top brand that's been in the industry for a long time, that perfected what they're doing, that stand out, and they're just, you know, they're great. And everyone else that's just getting in the business, they're looking at these top brands as inspiration, and they're trying to copy them and trying to replicate something. So eventually they can come up to do, you know, something similar to that. But it takes years. It takes years of experience. It takes years of trials. And a lot of these people that get into the industry and start producing their own product, they don't know what they're doing. They're, you know, testing the waters and trying to find something out. And that's when you as a homeowner end up buying something from a private labeled company where they're not going to stand behind their product, because if at the end of the day, if they need to, they'll just shut down and start another brand.
This is true. And another thing, I don't know if you've experienced this. Have you ever seen a white box?
A white box, no.
Okay. And I've talked about this before. There's a lot of companies out there that all they do is put a sticker on the flap where it opens, and it has a name, but the box is white.
Yes, I have.
So we call it white box material.
Yeah.
And white box materials don't have a brand, it doesn't have anything. It just has a name on the box. And that if you're out there and you're shopping and you see a brand or you're buying a floor from someone and it has a white box and it just has a name on it, you should think twice before installing it, because you're not getting warranties on that material, because it doesn't have any credibility. It doesn't have a brand behind it. And there's that warranty. What is it warranting and what brand is it warranting?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
definitely stay away from the white boxes.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I was going to tell you. So the next question I have for you, Stanley, is how has social media changed your business?
Well, I definitely think this leads back into the first question that you asked me and how Home Improvement Studio started. I think that if you don't have a platform in the social media, you won't survive. And
damn, say that again.
If you don't have a social media platform, you won't survive. Nowadays,
you won't survive.
You won't. Nowadays, every single person out there has a social media platform. Personally, I mean, everyone has an Instagram, everyone has a Facebook, everyone has something that they can, you know, be social, you know, on a social platform. Yeah. And as a business, if you don't have a social media platform, you technically don't exist. You're not out there. A brick and mortar store is not enough to survive in the business unless you're dealing with, you know, builders and contractors that have that first point of contact with the customer that, you know, feeds you work constantly, and it's like, you know, pennies per square foot for install, you know, and all that. But in order to really survive in any industry, you need to have a social media platform. And one thing that I've noticed with Home Improvement Studio, and honestly, this kind of all happened by accident. I was just an installer, opened up a flooring store thinking that, hey, this is something great and it's going to give us, you know, that first point of contact with customers. And then I got bored with, you know, just installing all day. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to create time lapses and videos on social media that I can, you know, show customers on, hey, this is how we do our, you know, how our process goes of flooring installs. And I started posting these, and the first one I posted got like 20,000 views. And I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, this is fun. So I started creating more videos and more videos. And next thing you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 30 million. It's like, this is insane. Like, people are actually watching this and they're enjoying it, you know? So we started doing all those time-lapse videos of the process on how we work. And it was great for us in the showroom because, you know, customers ask you, what's self-leveling?
Here,
you know, here you go, and they watch the video from start to end, and it's not just that, but it also gives them that confidence that you know what you're doing. That, you know, it's like that referral that was, you know, like friend that referred them to you. So the videos definitely gave customers the confidence that we knew what we're doing. It makes the business look better as far as branding goes. It gives you that credibility of like, okay, these guys have proof of what they're doing and how they've done it. And, you know, if you see that it's great, it's like, wow, I like what they're doing. Because a lot of people do work, but it's like, can you trust their work? Yeah. And if you're able to showcase your videos, showcase your work, and a lot of people are watching it and they're like, wow, these guys are awesome, or wow, they do good work. When a customer sees that, they're like, okay, well, I want them to do my work, because, you know, it's that credibility that you build on the social platform. So
what I'm hearing is social media is like a resume.
It really is,
right?
Yeah.
So you're showing, it's like the futuristic resume in 2024.
Yes, that's
right.
Exactly. I didn't really realize that when I got into it, because I just got into it doing it just because. But what I've learned over the years is that it is like a resume, but also it puts you in contact with people that you would never have ever thought you would ever reach to. You know. So
let me ask you a question. So when you've gone viral multiple times on Instagram, do you do TikTok too?
No, I don't.
Just Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Okay. So do you ever get, and I'm pretty sure you're going to say yes, but do you get people that watch your videos and they send you a DM and they say, hey, I like what you did here? Or do you get do you get customers from Instagram through your videos is my question.
I would say I do get some, but more importantly than the customers, you get to build that reputable connection with vendors that are high quality, and, you know, vendors that don't put their products in every showroom, and having social media platform where you get those views when you go to a McMillan vendor or, you know, a Hallmark vendor, and you show them like, hey, we have the platform to showcase your products and to advertise it. They're like, okay,
they want to partner up with you.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, when we didn't have that platform, we would reach out to these vendors and they're like, who's this guy?
They wouldn't give you the time or day.
Exactly. A lot of times you wouldn't even get a response.
Dang. So you're saying, dang, that's crazy. So social media, what I'm hearing is social media is very powerful, and you need to have social media if you're going to be operating a barbershop, a flooring store, a tile store, whatever retail store, whatever business you operate. You're a living, breathing person experiencing social media. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on my podcast, because you are the future of the way flooring installation goes, the way retail sales go. You are the future of how business is supposed to operate in the world of business today. Yeah. That's why you're here. If you didn't know why I brought you, that's the reason, because you are the future. Tell them how young you are.
I just turned 30 this year.
So you're a 30-year-old guy. And I talked to a lot of people about this. A lot of people that get into the flooring business are usually in their late 40s, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're young in the flooring industry right now. So imagine where you're going to be in 10 years from now. You're already doing really well. You're doing really well for yourself.
Thank you.
But imagine where you're going to be in 10 years from now. You have a social media platform. We're friends now. So it's like, where does home improvement go from here? You could just imagine. It's just, you're young. I think that's the most important thing. You got a lot of years ahead of you. You know what I mean?
It definitely opens up the doors to almost anything that you want to get in the future.
Yeah.
Having that platform on a social media world is definitely promising, and there's a bright future that allows you to do anything that you would want with it.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, this is my final question, and then you can ask, I know you have some questions for me. What advice would you give to other flooring or home improvement businesses trying to have an online presence the way you do?
I would say, as hard as it is, prioritize it. Sometimes, you know, after, running a business in general is difficult, and there's not enough time in the day to do so. If you're also an installer, installing, you know, doing what you have to do on a daily just to survive, plus the business portion of it, and then social media part is like, you know, there's a lot going on in one day. But I would probably say that social media and advertising yourself is free. You know, the only thing it costs is your time. And the rewards and the benefit of doing so long term is more beneficial than hiring a third party to run your ads or invest money into Google ads or whatever it is. So it's an expense that doesn't cost much, but it's more rewarding and more promising than any ad campaign that you can start with any third party business that you can invest. So as far as starting it, it's never too late to start. And the sooner you do it, the better you're going to be off in 2-3 years.
Yeah, and the easier it gets as you continue doing it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I learned about the social media is that in the beginning I was embarrassed naturally.
Yeah.
You're probably embarrassed being in the videos or being here. It's nerve-wracking just being here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think social media is our new world. That's the way we live. And that's the way you tell me your wife isn't watching TikTok or Instagram while she's sitting next to you on the TV or whatever, wherever you are, or your kids, or obviously you don't have kids yet, but I'm just saying my kids are on social media and like, I'm like, oh, what are you watching? They show me this video. I start laughing with them. It's a different world we're living in. And you know what? I grew up in the 90s. So I social media was never a thing, but I don't think there's anything wrong with social media as long as you know how to use it to help your business. You will succeed. Exactly. I think the problem with social media that a lot of people don't understand is if you become a consumer of social media, then that's bad. Yeah. But if you understand that you can use your social media as a way to drive traffic to your business or website, then now you figured out a way to create sales for yourself. Exactly. That's a different type of business. And now you're not becoming a consumer. Yeah. Now you are creating content, and now you're a content creator. Exactly. And I think that there's power behind that. I think there's power behind that. And I don't think people, like you said, there's a lot of flooring businesses that they think that they know that their business is the right way to do business. But I don't agree, and I don't think you agree. You feel the same way I do. I don't agree that the flooring store sitting at that corner is the right way to open a flooring store today. Exactly.
I mean, my experience with different flooring stores is that they hire a lot of people that don't really understand the process of installation or, the product that they're even talking about. A customer walks into the showroom and they're like, hey, I'm looking for this floor. And they're like, oh yeah, we got it. Here you go. But they don't tell them, any cons of the flooring that they're trying to get. Like I said, like last month I had a customer that walked in because her friend bought a house that was flipped and she wanted the same flooring because it looked nice, but it was a white box floor that was, a drop click system flooring. And it's like, you don't want that in your house. Trust me. Like,
and you explained to her why.
Exactly. And I explained to her why. And then she's like, okay, I get it. That makes sense. But exactly, a lot of flooring stores that are, and flooring is pretty competitive. Everyone's trying to get into it. Everyone is doing something. And a lot of these installers, all their dreams is, all of them have dreams of opening their own store one day. But what they don't realize is that a lot of these stores, they hire people that aren't really qualified to sell that vendor or to sell that product. And when a homeowner comes in, they're like, hey, I'm looking for this flooring. And they show a flooring that they've seen on Pinterest or TikTok or Instagram. They're like, hey, I'm looking for this. And they're like, oh yeah, we have this. It's right here. And they're like, oh, this looks nice. Let's get it. But they don't talk to them about the pros and cons about it. It's like, you want it, I'll give it to you. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's not the way to go. I mean, if a customer comes in looking for a floor, I feel like it's our duty to explain to them exactly what that flooring is so that they make the best decision according to their knowledge and educate them on what they're getting. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the end, that is a less headache as a business owner because you're not dealing with, hey, this customer bought this flooring, we delivered it to their house, the installer was getting ready to install it, and then they changed their mind. Yeah. That's the worst. Flooring is not easy to move around, and after it's been at a customer's house, returning it, dealing with that, those are the things we avoid altogether. So we try to educate our customers on, hey, if you're trying to get this flooring, this is what you should be aware of.
I agree.
And educate them on making sure that they make the right decision based off of, their lifestyle and what they're doing with their house.
Yeah. So go ahead and ask me. I know you have some questions for me.
Sure, of course.
Ask away. Ask away,
Stanley. First question I do have is, how did the flooring factory start?
The flooring factory originally started back in, it's going to be now, I'm going to say it's been the flooring. So I'll get a little further back because the flooring factory, I could just answer the question with, it started about 9 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. But in reality, when you look at it, I've been in the flooring business since I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Right. So I've been in the flooring business for a long time. And a lot of people don't know, I originated at Bedrosian's.
Okay.
Bedrosian's Tile and Stone. So my family has always been in the flooring industry. So me being such a young guy in an industry that's usually where there's a lot of older guys in it, especially even now, I'm still pretty young. I'm 35. My kids might say I'm old, but I'm still pretty young. But in the flooring world, there's a lot of older guys that are either retired tile guys or retired hardwood installers, or they don't want to be on their knees anymore.
Yeah.
They want to open a store and just lay back and just sell floors, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I learned quickly that maybe because I'm a new era of the way I do business, but I told my dad, hey, my dad always used to tell me, because my dad was always on his hands and knees. He was always out there working. And I told him, you know what? That's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not an installer. And I get it that you did it, Dad, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be out doing that.
Yeah.
And, being born in the U.S., I'm thankful that my parents were able to come to the U.S. and I'm here and I got the opportunity to be able to do that. I told my family, hey, I'm not going to, I was in the industry doing the work, but I don't like that and I'm not going to do that. I want to just sell the material and I want to be in the industry, but I want to be a voice. I don't want to be just installing it.
Yeah.
And so along the way, I met a lot of great business partners and I've met bad business partners. Okay. So meaning that along the way, you meet people that screw you over. Then you meet people that actually you work really well together and you become business partners and you're able to open up stores that are very commercialized, very, very modern looking.
Yes.
So I would say that that's how I started the flooring factory. Was exactly about, it's been about 9 years now, flooring factory, the actual flooring factory. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Definitely. Well, that's pretty awesome. You must have a lot of experience and dealt with a lot of different type of people.
Yeah, there's just two. The thing is, the flooring industry can be pretty complicated because there's tile, there's carpet, there's wood, there's laminate. There's so many different angles to flooring.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing. I originated with tile and marble and granite and quartzite and all that. So I think that people think that I only know about laminate or vinyl. That's all people think that everyone assumes that that's all I know. Yeah. But I know about Schluter systems. I know about Ditra. I know about Curdy. I know about all that stuff. Yeah. Schluter system profiles, all that. I know about all of that stuff. Yeah. But I don't get into that world because that world can be too complex for the end user.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you experienced that. The end user, I cater to the homeowner. I cater to the person that doesn't know. Yeah. And it's very hard to explain Curdy and Ditra to people. They don't know what that is. Exactly. A honeycomb plastic? What the hell's that? Yeah. So I think that the way I explain videos, the way I do that stuff, I think that's why people resonate with the style of how I educate,
Awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. And that leads me into the next question, which is, what are the current trends and innovations of the flooring industry and how do they compare to those of the past few years?
So obviously the trend that was really heavy for the past 10 years is the gray wood floor design. Yeah. That gray trend was really, really, really popular for past 10 years. And it finally is dying out after the past 3 years. Yeah. It's kind of died down. But as far as like trend, that's a very dangerous word, trend, because people, when they hear the word trend, they think that design is going to go out of style in 2-3 years. Yeah. So as far as the trend goes, I'm not saying that beige floors are trending. They just came back to life. Okay. So meaning that the natural colors, they never went out of style. It's just that they're coming back because people got tired of the gray floors very quickly. But as far as like the trend, I don't think that natural wood floors are going to go out of style anytime soon. Yeah. But as far as like I think you said the innovation. Yes. The innovation has changed as far as like the way they produce product, the way it visually looks. If you go rewind time, if we go back to 10 years ago, I think that flooring doesn't look the same as it did in 2000, 2013
Exactly.
until now in 2024. It's been a long time, and you could visually see the difference between a floor that was made in 2013 and you could see the difference in a floor today.
Yeah. So how would you be able to tell a flooring that's from 2013 compared to something that was, recently made?
If we're talking about a laminate floor has pillowed edges.
Yeah.
And when I mean pillowed edges, they're round on the edge. And look at it like a pillow. Like a pillow is shaped round on the edges, right? So I would say that the floors have changed as far as they visually look. Back then, a real maple or a real hickory has pillowed edges, and it had a shine, a very heavy, obvious, shiny look to it. So you had an aluminum oxide finish, which gave your floor that clear coat look, where it had very shiny, kind of like a basketball court, very shiny. And so laminates were copying that same style back then. So that's why the floors looked the way they did.
Yeah.
But today you got the European oak, or you have new floors today that are more matte, more natural looking. They look like if they don't have a finish.
Yeah.
So people see those wood floors today, and now the laminates and the vinyls are matte. So that's how I've seen the difference. But as far as the visual, you can't compare a laminate in 2013 to a laminate today. Visually, the laminates back then, they look ugly.
Yeah.
They look really ugly looking.
You can so tell that they were fake.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you see a laminate today, like the Evolve series from McMillan Floors, it's truly matte.
Yeah.
It has the EIR. It has the, that registered print where you could feel the texture. You didn't see that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't see that. And if you did, it looked cheap.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that.
Nice. And that leads me to the next question. What factors should a homeowner consider when choosing the right type of flooring for their house?
There's a couple factors. I'm going to say if the customer is out shopping for a deal, don't expect a high quality product. If you are shopping for a high quality product that should last 30 or 40 years, then you shouldn't be focusing on price. You should first look for shopping for a quality. I would say look at the core composite. What's the core made out of? I would say what's the wear layer that vinyl has. If we're talking about laminate, what's the AC rating, right? AC rating ranges from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then also there's laminates out there. I'm pretty sure you're aware of this. There's laminates out there that are claiming that they're waterproof laminate, but they're only waterproof for a certain amount of time. There's some laminates out there that are waterproof up to 12 days. That's a long time. Water evaporates usually in 4 days.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, water doesn't sit there. It evaporates. It doesn't just sit there. So, 12 days on a laminate is ridiculous. That's crazy. But like you said, laminates have came a long way. Laminates today are waterproof. Laminates 10 years ago were not. They were made out of MDF, and they would absorb water like a pack of paper.
Yeah.
So you can't compare a laminate then and a laminate now. Two different products. So when the homeowner's shopping, I highly recommend them to do a little more digging. Don't trust that what they say, that just because the laminate on the box says it's waterproof, or just because the board says it's waterproof. You want to know, does it have a waxed edge? Where it can repel water getting into the actual click system. Is the core really injected with the resin where it's going to actually repel water from the core? What's the absorption rate of how much water it's going to absorb? Like all of these things that we as flooring pros, as flooring specialists, we need to teach the homeowner, teach the contractor, reteach these people. They have old ways of thinking. The homeowner has an old way of thinking. The designers think that all the laminates are the same. Everyone in the industry trying to buy a floor thinks that everything's the same. It's not. That's why we make videos.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to teach people. If we don't get to the people, someone else is going to get to them before you. Right? And that's what we talked about in the very beginning of this podcast. If someone else teaches them something and they're sold on the idea that all the laminates are the same, you lost that customer. Now you got to re-explain yourself to this customer.
It's definitely very difficult to bring them back after that.
So for that homeowner, contractor, educate yourself on what you're going to buy, because, that person in that showroom, maybe they just got hired a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. And
they're really not flooring specialists. The owner's out measuring, but the person inside the showroom is just someone that maybe a family member or someone they put there because they have to go and measure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So running a business is hard. So when you're out there as a homeowner, make sure that the person you're talking to really knows the stuff. Question them.
Exactly.
Ask them questions. What's a WPC? What's an SPC?
Yeah.
Mess around with that person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Really ask them, hey, what's an AC rating?
Yeah.
What's an SPC?
Yeah.
And if that person can explain a little bit of those things to you, and then you kind of have a little bit of like, you know what, I have a little trust in that person. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I would definitely ask the right questions, so you feel confident buying the floor from that person.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Those are definitely some really
Yeah.
very valid points. I'd probably say another good thing is get a sample of a really poor quality flooring, and go to a store and ask them, hey, what can you tell me about this floor?
Yeah,
And
that's a good one.
see if they really do have it, and if they nail it, then you can trust that person. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of these stores. A lot of the guys working there, they would either probably try to sell you on that product and be like, "Oh, this is really good. This is what you want," or they'd be very transparent and be like, "No, that's unless you're trying to DIY this for yourself, I wouldn't recommend that."
Yeah.
So it's definitely I've had customers actually come in the showroom with samples, and they're like, "Hey, what can you tell me about this sample?"
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. I sell nationwide. I sell everywhere. I sell to Florida. I sell to Texas. Pretty much every state.
Yeah.
I sell to almost every state. But I would say that a lot of people send me videos. And this is gonna be funny. A lot of people send me videos of them hammering floors from other places, and then they hammer the floors that we sell, that I sell, and you sell, McMillan brand, and they hammer it, and they record it, and then they send it to me. Say, look, I did the test to see if it really is true.
Yeah.
And go ahead and do it. Grab a floor from big box store and get a sample from the McMillan brand and hammer it. Test it.
Yeah,
See if it really does. If it does hold, if it doesn't dent the same way that these do. And so, I think that's pretty much what I think people should be doing.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Next question that I would like to bring up is, what are some of the common mistakes people make while they shop for their flooring, and how could they be avoided?
Common mistakes. I'm going to say that the common mistake is just, I think, believing the first person they talk to. That's a big one. Like you said, and after you said that, it makes sense. There's a lot of people shopping for floors, and they get stuck in the idea that one person tells them this, and then you go and tell them something different, and then now they're confused, and they don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
That really screws up the experience of buying floors. It's kind of like buying cars, The idea of going to a Lexus dealer and then going to a Toyota dealer or Mercedes dealer and then all these different dealers, and everybody tells you that they're the best.
Yeah.
I don't think that I like to tell people that I'm the best. I'd rather just speak about the product and say, this is the best, and you decide what you want to do. Yeah. Like in that video when I say, here's this, here's this, boom, 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 boom. You be the judge which one is the best. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you this is the best because I told you it's the best.
Yeah.
I think that people should go and do the research. And the thing is, a lot of people, they're lazy. Let's be realistic. Not everyone's gonna sit there and read 3 articles every night until they decide what floor they want. They want you to teach them and tell them the truth. And that's one thing I really emphasize on. There's a lot of brands out there producing products that are ugly. Yeah. A lot of ugly looking floors out there. And when I talk about ugly, I mean busy looking floors. And a lot of brands don't like me saying these things, but I really don't care what they think.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the end user's happy. I talked to this homeowner in Florida, and I told him, I said, hey, are you happy that I teach you the things I do in my videos? And it was a FaceTime call I was having with her. And she says, Roger, she said, I'm a wedding planner. And the way you explain things in your videos, it really helps the end user understand that you're honest. You have to be honest. You can't hide when something's ugly.
Yeah.
If the floor's ugly, it's ugly, and you need to admit it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think that every brand out there produces the nicest looking floors? No.
Yeah.
Let's say a certain brand produces 80 colors, 70 of them are ugly. But they're testing them to see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge fan of products that look nice.
Yeah.
It's not my fault I have good taste.
Yeah.
Same with you. You have nice taste.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have a beautiful wife. You have good taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my wife's beautiful. I think I have good taste. I'm not going to settle for something that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that that's the way people should view flooring. If you're out shopping for a floor, it has to look like wood. It has to look real.
Yeah.
You know? And just because not everyone can afford hardwood floors, Stanley, you know that.
That's so true.
Not a lot of people can buy hardwood floors. Hardwood floors, a nice Hallmark hardwood floor, I guarantee is $15.
Yeah.
$13 a square foot. It's expensive. So if you're a homeowner that can afford laminate or a vinyl, you want it to look as realistic as possible, don't you?
Exactly.
You know, so, and I think that's like you said, there's a lot of vendors out there that are trying to sell their product thinking that their product looks really nice. But the reality is they should admit it. Their products are ugly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everyone wants to buy a floor that looks very busy and a bunch of lines in it. It looks like a zebra. Who wants their house to look like that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Awesome. And my last and final question is more for a homeowner that's trying to install their flooring after they've already purchased the floor. I definitely would want to say that a lot of subcontractors or floor installers are not really truthful and honest about floor preparation and floor installation. And they would install any flooring on top of any subfloor regardless of the condition, and then blame it on the material later. So my last question is, how important is a subfloor preparation, and what are some of the best practices to ensure a smooth and stable base for a new flooring install?
So if you're a homeowner shopping for floors and you come across a installer that tells you that he doesn't have to prep the floor, that's bad news from the beginning. That is bad news. You're someone that holds the value and the quality of installation that you do. And I respect all the videos you create, because I noticed every video you make when you're installing a vinyl or a hardwood, you pour out self-leveling. Yeah. Every video I saw on your Instagram, you were pouring self-leveling. Why do you do that? Answer the question. Why do you pour self-leveling on all those jobs?
Because it's very rare that you come across where a subfloor is flat. It's
not every house is flat.
Exactly. Even the new builds, it's like after, they pour these slabs, they start building right away, and that subfloor, that foundation definitely settles with all the weights being added right on top of it. It typically takes about 2 months for the concrete to fully cure, and these houses are being built in like 2 months.
See?
So you can imagine that.
So to keep answering what you're saying, if you don't prep, if you don't have the correct foundation to install your floor correctly, you're going to have a really bad installation. Yeah. And that's why you're saying that, because floor prep is number one rule.
Exactly.
Vapor barrier is very important. There's a lot of, I talk about this a lot. Stop hiring handymen that don't have a license. Stop hiring people that said that they'll install the flooring in the basement for $1 a square foot. Yeah. Stop hiring these people hanging out at Home Depot that say, I can install hardwood floor for $1, I can install vinyl for $1. Just because they say they can do it doesn't mean they're pros. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So stop, just because you hired him to dig a hole in the back doesn't mean he could paint your whole house. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to go back to it, stop hiring people that say that they can do it. Start hiring the people that actually do it for a living. Yeah. And start hiring people that's what they do every single day. Exactly. And I'm a huge believer, and that's why I like you, and that's why I like what you do. That's because you really do believe in quality installation, quality floors, and I really believe that quality matters. I really do.
I believe so too. One thing that I tell all my customers is your floor install can only be as good as your subfloor. So these floors, once you start installing them, it's a pretty easy process. It's just, snap and go. If your subfloor is not taken care of and that subfloor has major red flags and you just install on top of it, it's only a matter of time until that flooring shows that. So it's no matter how good of an installer you get, if he doesn't do the proper floor prep on your subfloor to make sure that all the red flags are taken care of, and you do all the proper leveling and make sure that that floor is sitting on a flat foundation, then it's only going to reveal that in the future. So yeah, your install can only be as good as your subfloor.
Yep. No, I'm telling you, I agree. It's just, I think that the reason why people, especially like guys that are just out there trying to bid a job for $1 a foot, I think those kind of guys are doing that just to get the job first, and then once the job goes wrong, they change their number and disappear. Yeah, you know what I mean. We used to do a lot of install, so I remember that was a big deal. Like I had so many customers. They would buy the floor. They would come in with the installer, and they would say, "Oh, I like that floor." They would buy like the stuff I have on sale for $199, and they're like, "Yeah, this is nice." They would tell the homeowner, "Yeah, this is good. Let's do this." And then the craziest things would happen, Stanley. The homeowner would leave, and he would say, "Hey, how do you install this floor?" Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
installer would tell me,
yeah,
"Hey, how do you install this floor? Can you teach me how to install it?" Dude, you just told them to buy that.
yeah,
And they would be like, "Yeah, but I've never installed this floor. I always install the Home Depot stuff. I always install the other stuff." I'm like, "Hey, man, you're the one that told them to buy that.
yeah.
Now you're going to deal with the installation." And it would happen where the click systems were breaking and stuff like that. And if they don't have experience installing a Valange, a G5, or a Uniclick, oh, man, you've heard of this stuff.
A nightmare, yeah.
I've had people call me, the homeowner call me, "My contractor said your material is garbage."
Yeah.
I go to the job, right? I go to the job and show up, and I'm like, "How are you installing it?" "Oh, I'm doing it. Look, I do it like this. I'm trying to install it." I'm like, "Dude, you're installing it the other way around. Like, what are you doing?" Well, I said, "Look," "let me have my guy install a couple rows for you." And the homeowner's just watching like, "How come he could do it and you can't?" I said, "Ma'am, I'm not here to criticize your installer, but he doesn't know how to install our floors."
Yeah.
"Why? Why don't you know how to do it?" "Oh, I only install stuff from the Lowe's or Home Depot." Dude, come on.
Yeah.
All the flooring pros know that they shouldn't be buying at the big boss stuff. You know what I mean?
No, definitely agree.
So, but that's how I feel about the homeowners out there not knowing what they're doing when they're shopping, you know? And that's why we're doing this. Is why we're having this conversation, because it educates the homeowner. It teaches them what we recommend, what we don't recommend. So that hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, it definitely does. And that's, I mean, you definitely brought some very good valid points, and I feel like it's definitely transparent.
Yeah. No, you like I said, you got to be honest. You can't sugarcoat the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, someone said, "Oh, I have a friend of mine." This is actually a good one. He says, "You can't put lipstick on a pig to make it look pretty."
That's so true.
It's not gonna work. So you got to be realistic. If the floor is nice looking, you're gonna pay $3, $4, $5 a square foot.
Yeah.
If the floor is ugly looking, and you think it looks nice at the showroom,
yeah,
once it's installed, you're gonna see the lines. And you're gonna say, "Oh man, why does it look like that?"
Yeah.
You know. So it's because you paid $1.99. You paid $2.49.
Yeah. And also, one thing that I definitely would like to mention is I do have a lot of customers coming in with some very poor quality made floors that look very nice. However, the core is not what you'd want. I've had like even WPC.
Yeah.
They do have some really nice colors, but I've had multiple issues with WPC, and especially if you have like very open space with big windows and the sun hits it a lot.
Yeah.
That material is going to warp, and that click system is going to go bad, and the color is going to fade, and you're going to get expansion and contraction, and next thing you know, your floors are starting to come apart, and you're going to have some major issues. So as far as, you know, the different types of vinyl flooring, what would you say that is more durable, and what core system out there is more trustworthy compared to a lot of the different vendors?
I'm going to say when you're comparing an LVP, because LVP, the name is so broad.
Exactly.
The same way, the way people view LVP, if you go put LVP on Google right now, there's so many LVP floors out there. And when we talk about LVP, it's the same way you would categorize cars, right?
Okay, so can you explain that? I have a lot of customers coming in the showroom and they're like, "Hey, I'm looking for LVP flooring."
Yeah. So if you're a homeowner and you're walking to a retail store and you're saying, "I want LVP," I think that they need to get educated on which type of LVP. The word LVP is an umbrella for WPC, LVT, SPC, ESPC.
Yeah.
There's so many names that they're putting on these floors, but the reality is a WPC is a plastic-based core. And then on top of that is LVT glued on top. So it's, if you dropped a hammer or you dropped something kind of sharp, it's going to gouge a WPC. If you drop something heavy enough, it falls over on the floor, it's going to put a dent in the floor. That's a WPC. The SPC, if it's a higher quality, a 6 millimeter or thicker, it should be able to handle if something heavy falls on it, it's not going to dent.
Yes.
If you drop the knife on an SPC, it's not gonna gouge.
Yeah.
The sun, when you talk about a WPC being installed in a house and there's a lot of windows and the sun hits it 4 or 5 hours a day, the warping of the floor, because it's made out of plastic, the WPC, it's going to warp and it's going to start to move around.
Yes.
And you're going to see separation. You're going to see the floor start to cup and stuff like that. So homeowners don't know that. They think that because the material is 12 millimeter WPC or because the material is at 8 millimeter WPC, that it's much stronger than a 6 millimeter SPC.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
We've experienced all the claims we have when the sun comes in and the manufacturer goes and they say, nope, it's installation. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's the material being plastic, the sun hitting every single day. And they always come after, oh, well, you don't have blinds on your windows.
Yeah.
What? The floors, this was never an issue.
Yeah.
You're telling me that I have to tint the windows on my house so that the sun doesn't come to it?
Yeah.
There's windows on my house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So WPC isn't the best product out there. That's my honest opinion. SPC is the way to go if you're going to go with an LVP. LVT is a very thick vinyl product that is they sell it a lot at LL Flooring.
Uh-huh.
It's a very thick gray material, very heavy, and it's made out of it's a plastic-based material, but it's a different type of material, and it's more of a LVT. If you remember glued down LVT, they made it thicker.
Yeah.
So and they put a click system on it.
Yeah.
That's what you see a lot at LL Flooring.
Yeah.
So when homeowners and contractors are shopping, they think that all the vinyls are the same.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I hope I answered the
Exactly.
question.
Yeah, that definitely does. That definitely clarifies because, there is a difference between all the vinyls. There is a difference between the laminates. And it's very important to be educated on that and know what you're getting because if the specs look good, that doesn't mean it's what you want or it's durable enough for what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And then I hope this helps, and you get to post this too. If you have homeowners that are coming from, like, for example, Floor and Decor, they go into those places and the finish that you see on because we know what an 8 mil wear layer is. We know what a 10 mil wear layer, 12 mil wear layer is, a 20 mil, a 27 mil. We know what that is as flooring pros, right?
Yeah.
But when a homeowner goes into a flooring store, like a big box store, they don't know what a titanium finish is. So if you go to a Floor & Decor's website and you look at a SPC or a vinyl or a laminate or whatever you're viewing, they don't talk about AC ratings and they don't usually talk about the wear layer. And so that confuses the homeowner going from a big box store and then going into your store. And then they ask you, oh, I want my SPC or I want my LVT or LVP to have titanium finish. You're going to say, what is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're flooring pros. We're going to say, what is that? So I think that's another thing that homeowners need to learn, that titanium finish or anything that has, if it doesn't talk about a number on a mil wear layer, meaning it could be a 5 mil all the way up to a 27 mil, it doesn't have any of that information on the website, buy something else.
Yeah.
It needs to tell you what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Awesome.
Yeah, so I did want to give you a gift that they told me to give you.
Okay.
So if you want to open it, this is actually
Wow, this is heavy.
yeah. Go ahead and open it. This is from Kingdom Distributors and McMillan told me, and they wanted to give you a gift.
All right.
So it looks like they got you some stuff.
Welcome to LA.
It
From
says,
McMillan and Kingdom Distributors.
So they got you some cool stuff. It looks like they got you a Don Julio. They got you some shirts.
Nice. I'm excited.
Chocolate and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So shout out to McMillan Floors and Kingdom
thank
Distributors.
You very much. I appreciate you guys, and we're excited to have you guys to have your product and to be able to promote it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that you're gonna kill it in Northern California. I think that for anyone that's shopping for the McMillan Floor product, expect Stanley out there at Home Improvement. He's going to be he has it already, but I know you sell a lot of McMillan brand. Definitely. I know you do. And like we were talking, I think the reason why you sell it is because you like the quality. That's just it.
It's definitely easy to sell something you believe in.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
You're just being real about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hype. It's, hey, this is what it is.
And I feel that that's probably why we resonate to each other, because I'm a huge fan, because I care about quality and I care about the visuals.
Yeah.
And I think you noticed that after I told you, quality and visuals, they have to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can have a nice quality core, but if the floor looks ugly, what's the point of buying it?
Yeah.
And vice versa. You can have a nice visual, but have a low quality click system or a low quality core, and it's not going to work. You're going to have problems. So both of those two go hand in hand.
Definitely.
So Stanley, I appreciate you.
Likewise.
And I will definitely appreciate this moment, because like I said, obviously we're going to get to hang out. I'm going to take you to get some food. We'll hang out more and talk more about business. But I appreciate you coming in here, taking the time to come out. And I will hopefully see you soon. I'll go up north and see you out there.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
All right, cool. Stanley, thank you again. And everyone watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.